Okay, we'll start. So just welcome everyone to the Multicultural Online Business Program. This is the fourth one, I think, so it's going quite well. We're very lucky to have Shocket here today. So far, they've all been very informative. We've all learned a lot. Now, I just put it over, this guy's had a lot of experience in a lot of businesses, even corporate, small business, you name it, he's had experience in it. And now I might just hand it over to Shocket. So are you right to go?
Thanks, Travis.
All
and
good?
I can see you at the Logan Home Expo, so I'll let you go now. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just at an expo. Thanks, mate. I'll get going and good luck.
Okay, let me switch off a few functions. All right, so are you in the right place? It's always the question, isn't it? If you feel, if you're thinking, hey, my customers and prospects are being stolen by competitors, you presume, or maybe they're taking a long time to buy. You feel that the struggle has become a norm, a hard struggle. Uncertainty seems to be the only certainty. You want your competitors to be the one working harder, but you want to be working smarter. Yet you're not so sure what that exactly means. You want to end the profit squeeze. You want to stand out from a sea of competitors, thrive when others barely survive. So if these are your thoughts, stick around. You're also probably thinking, have I built a business or just a high-stress job? How would you know, though? So, yeah, sure, your business might be growing, but you seem to be the chief firefighter. It feels less like a business, more like a prison, a luxurious prison. You could be making $3 million a year, but if you took a month off, the question is, would there be anything left to come back to? And your market, it feels like you are constantly being price shocked, forced to make discounts on your bids, especially your tenders. You're charging for quotes. Actually, you're not charging for tenders. You're not charging for quotes. You're doing your whole business is about proposals if you're in B2B. Basically, you feel like you're working harder to sell more of the same stuff. And it feels like a race to the bottom. And you're thinking there must be a smarter way. And perhaps when you look in the mirror, you see Alex. Alex is successful on the outside, as he or she should be, but frustrated on the inside. Publicly respected, successful, an industry leader. Privately, they feel like they're the hardest working person in the company, last one to get any benefit, sometimes living on credit cards and line of credits. Problem is they have systems, but it hasn't kept up with their success. And when I say systems, it doesn't have to be IT. So this is not an IT digital transformation conversation here. It's a business reformation conversation we're having every Wednesday. And the ultimate goal for Alex or you is to build a business that rewards your work with freedom, not just more responsibility. And ultimately, it's how will it serve your life, rewarding your work with more freedom, not just more and more responsibility. So if you're here, it's because you're tired of the usual fluff. You're probably sick of hearing about hustle and grind and scale. You see that everywhere when it feels like you're just running in place. So today isn't about working harder. It's about getting an unfair advantage. Part 2 specifically, as you can see. If you don't have part 1, get in touch and I'll send you the replay and the notes as well. Again, I said in my last week, I wish I knew this stuff when I was in my early 20s. And things didn't turn out too bad. But it's really the 6 focused areas as both a business owner and a business investor, or even if you're starting your own business. You want to focus on 6 key areas to knock out the competition and make them irrelevant to a large degree. And I'm talking about the bigger competitions as well, not just the smaller ones or your size. So these are strategies that separate the business that merely survive from the ones that dominate. And it's these advantages, they create generational wealth, especially when they're stacked on each other. So if you're doing one, great. If you're doing two, great. If you're doing three, now you're building a moat. And then if you have six, which most don't, let me assure you of that. Most do not have all six. Then you're pretty much unstoppable. Why most don't have all six? Very simple. Shiny object syndrome, marketing hype, this hype, that hype today, AI hype, and they get distracted, straying away from what actually matters. So my name is Shokat. Feel free to get it wrong. I've done my intro before, but very quickly, as you can see from the screenshot, and as what Travis said, I worked in big box corporate. I cut my teeth in sales, door knocking, selling, back in the day in 2000, selling those international calls for iPrimus, for anybody who's been around that long. And I've done cold calling. I've also done inbound sales. What does that mean? Inbound complaints and people telling me they want to speak to someone in Australia. By the way, I am in Australia, okay, just to be clear. And then me having to convert those billing complaints, resolve them into sales, daily target. Not only that, we actually had to get all that done with the average call time or average handling time of 700 seconds. Now, of course, some calls are very short, you just transfer them. Others are long. But overall, it wasn't just about making sales. It also was about meeting a 700 average handling time target. So why am I telling you this? Been there, done that, doing it tomorrow. In fact, I'm doing it right now, straight after this call as well. This webinar. So, but at the end of the day, I'm not a business guru. I follow the paradigm for the last 23 years of the best way to learn is to teach. So I continuously learn. I realize every week how little I know. But I stick to the fundamentals that work. So what is this Wednesday we catch up all about? It's all about boosting your present bank cash flow. So are you happy with your present bank cash flow? But simultaneously, and this is where a lot of businesses with high income, low equity struggle with, simultaneously, it's about boosting and building your future bank equity. Why should you care, especially in this economy when cash flow is tight? Because if you're not doing both simultaneously and you're showing up to work, whether you work 40 hours a week or 100 hours a week, you're still getting 50% result. It doesn't matter if you make $3 million a year. If your business is not increasing in value and you don't have to sell, you don't have to have any intention of selling, but life happens. And whether we like it or not, we all exit, we all leave this world. So if you're not prepared and your business is not structured the right way, and we get tested with health, anything, and we need to partially or fully exit, the business suffers, we suffer, our family suffers. So this is all about building the present bank, future bank, creating assets, not just campaigns. Leave that to the other marketing people. Okay, so let's get the legal mumbo jumbo stuff out of the way. What we're talking about today is powerful, but it's not a prescription. I don't know you. I've never met you. And even if I've met you, we need to have a real dialogue, like you go to a doctor. The doctor will do the diagnosis, right? So I'm not giving you a prescription. It's a lens and a way to look at the beautiful, chaotic mess that is your business. You are responsible for what you do with it. No representation or warranty is given as to the achievement of reasonableness of any of this. So by its nature, it involves a number of risks and assumptions. So don't come crying if you take a blowtorch to your business model without a fire extinguisher handy. Okay, so anything you learn from here, start small, low risk, low cost. Ideally, no risk, no cost, but that's an illusion. Low risk, low cost, fail fast, learn fast. And besides, anything you do in business, and you should know this, it takes a few goes. Unfortunately, most businesses give up after the first three. The best of the best say, and these are people who charge $100,000 plus 5% royalty. These are the people I learned from. They say that they're wrong at least 50% of the time. That's the humility they have. And they say that it takes 5 goes before you get a control. Not maximization, control. So if any of this sounds like get rich quick, or you're looking for, sure, we can increase sales, right, in days and weeks. but you still establish a control. It's not maximization. I just want to clarify that. Okay, so we're now in part 2 of the 6 must-have. So we're going to kick off with strategy 4. Again, if you want 1, 2, and 3, just hit us up and we'll get you the replay and the notes. Strategy 4 is your business needs a hook. And the best way to describe that is a big idea. So what do we normally do? We focus on feature and benefit. Great. You know, a lot of marketing people talk about campaigns. I come from a finance background. I talk about assets, assets that build current bank and future bank. And for the right audience, that's a very big idea. Current bank, future bank. What is your big idea? So the greatest example till today I can think of is Domino's Guarantee. Fresh, hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less. So the USP, the unique selling proposition, is the guarantee. But the big idea was speed, not taste, not Nana's recipe, not handmade, but speed. They understood their original market, the ideal client profile. So in the US, they were targeting kids, college kids and dorms who cared more about speed than quality of ingredients. Why would they care about speed more than ingredients? Well, Friday night, Saturday night, they used to inhale some funny stuff. And just to feel a little bit elevated, if I can use that term. And unfortunately, the side effect of that was two. One, they couldn't physically get up and go to the local pizza shop. Number two, they were extremely hungry. So taste was not important. They needed food in their body ASAP while they're sitting on their couch, at the most coming to the door. So Domino's knew who they were targeting and they did well. Right? That big idea was so powerful, it captured the imagination and made the competition irrelevant. I grew up with Pizza Hut, but where's Pizza Hut these days? In Australia, Eagle Boys, where's Eagle Boys? Nobody else wanted to enter that game of speed because they were so focused on the taste and the secret recipe and no speed. So once you know your customer and what they want, you can talk to their needs. So this is your mission, to find that one thing that elevates you from being just another commodity. It's often about taking something mundane, like pizza, and wrapping it in a story so powerful, the story becomes the product, in this case, speed. So the heart of the mistake that we all make, including me, we're selling a product, not a story. We're stuck in the commodity trap. The best story here is about the Amish-made heater. The Amish are a Christian group or sect in the US predominantly. They're extremely conservative. They don't use electricity. Mobile phones are a new thing for them, so only for business related. They don't use it for social, but anytime ask any American if you've seen those shows with the Amish involved, they've got a huge credibility when it comes to craftsmanship. So the Amish-made heater is a mundane commodity product you can buy at any hardware store. Much less money than what they sell for. But one company had the genius to wrap it in the big idea of Amish-made. What they do is they instantly communicate to the public, right? What do they actually do? It's honesty, craftsmanship, simplicity. The Amish can't even use their heater because it runs on electricity. That's the irony. But all they make is the wood box around it. But that doesn't matter. The story is what people are buying. Amish-made heaters. It must be good, even though they don't use electricity. So you have to ask yourself, are we stuck in that slightly better trap? Are we just telling people that our drill bits are 5% stronger? Do people even care though? What do they really want? They want the hole in the wall, correct? So we need to sell them the perfect hole, the story of the hole, not the specs of the drill. And that's the mistake we make. So how to find our $1 million story? That's the treasure map. So these are the clues. First, find the core emotion. Now, I'll pause for a second. You can be B2B, you can be selling to sophisticated CEOs, engineers, accountants, lawyers, all the so-called rational people. Believe it or not, they're human beings and they have emotions, right? So you got to find, now they will justify the purchase logically, but if you want we want people's attention and interest and desires, we got to hit the emotional button. So give you an example. The sleep number bed is a fantastic example from the old days. It's a very big idea. It's not about the mattress anymore. It's not about the comfort of the mattress. It's about solving the nightly battle over the thermostat and getting a good night's sleep with your partner. And so they went from comfort of mattress to actually giving it a number. So what's your sleep number? Changes the whole conversation. Very big idea. Second, we want to wrap it in a guarantee or a story. This is what the Amish heater did. It's also what a fitness product founder did, promising to double your flexibility in one evening. Flexibility. What do a lot of fitness people sell? Right? How often do we hear about flexibility and doubling it in one evening? So that is a very bold, specific, big idea promise to the right target market. Third, go big on price and promise. Companies that build custom playhouse shaped like windmills and castles for up to $200, $200,000. So these are cubby houses in the backyard for kids, $200,000. Some of them are much more right now. Now, it might sound insane, but think about it. If you sell a $200,000 playhouse, you can afford to spend almost anything to find that one perfect customer, which goes back to our previous conversations. What's that one thing that you can have that is so expensive? It frankly makes all your other products feel look reasonable, but also all you need to make a sale every now and then. Every now and then, and that what would that do to your marketing costs? It will bring it down dramatically. So let me give you a new example. Think about a local moving company. Very boring. It's a total commodity. What if their big idea was the first night box? They're not just moving your stuff. They're guaranteeing that the very last thing on the truck and the very first thing off it is one special box containing fresh bedding, your coffee maker, 2 mugs, coffee, toiletries, and a bottle of wine or any drink, ideally non-alcoholic. They aren't selling moving services. They're selling the guarantee of a civilized, stress-free first night in a new home. That's a big idea. So if you've moved homes, especially for renters, it's a nightmare from start to finish. And the first business that offers this can have an advantage. And really, how much does it cost to set this box up anyway? All right, so number 5, the silent killer of more businesses than anything else, customer indecision. Maybe later is where profits go to die. Be crystal clear on this, okay? People's biggest flaw from a business owner's perspective is their inability to make a decision unless there's a compelling reason to do so. We have to internalize this. Our competition isn't the other guy down the street. It's the word later. Without a reason to act now, we are perpetually a nice to have item on an endless to-do list. We're going to get there. So we have 2 and only 2 weapons in this fight. We can offer a reward to buy now because, for example, a discount, a bonus, early access, or we can present a consequence. Buy now or else. The price is going up. The offer is going away. You're going to die. So the ultimate example, the doctor who says you need the surgery right now or you will be dead by dawn. That doctor has 0 objections and 100% closing rate because his urgency is absolute. I doubt people ask for a discount as well. If anything, they'll be saying, let me pay more and jump ahead of the queue. So our job is to create a business version of that urgency. So the problem is that most people's limited time offer fools no one. You can't just slap the word act now on your website and expect a stampede of customers. You have to avoid the perpetual sale. We've all seen this. The furniture store that's having a going out of business sale for the last 7 years, Rugs A Million comes to mind. It's a joke and it erodes all trust. You're training your customers to ignore you. The key is that the scarcity has to be real. For example, buying rare books from a dealer. They only have one of each book. So these buyers get trained by the dealer that when they get a call about a book, the one they want, that is, they have to decide immediately, because if they wait even an hour, it might be gone forever. So that's not a marketing gimmick. It's an authentic feature of the business model. That's what we need to aim for. We have to ask ourselves, is my scarcity real? Or am I just a wolf in sheep's clothing? So if we don't have natural scarcity, like the health condition of a doctor, like the doctor example, or the book dealer, rare book collector, we have to engineer scarcity. We have to build it into the very DNA of our business. Now we can limit our capacity or limit our time. This is a choice. We decide that we will only make 100 items this month, or we only accept 10 new clients per quarter. And then we honor it. When they're gone, they are gone. But the most powerful tool is create exclusivity. This is where we leverage human psychology. We study the luxury markets. They are masters at this. Louis Vuitton, Rolex, Ferrari, Rolls-Royce. And sometimes the secondhand products sell more than the brand new ones because they can't even get the brand new ones. But for the mere mortals like us, you've got the Lao Bao Bao plushie toys. We get fast food pop-ups now and then when they're testing the markets. So they see a huge line with a lot of social media fanfare, and that also works for exclusivity. Now, back in the day, and I'm sure it's still happening, SEOs used to make these calls and emails, say, look, I'm only taking one plumber for Brisbane, for example, and all the plumbers would freak out. Now, it's not as effective right now when every man and his dog is a SEO. So if you lose this SEO who will only take on one plumber for Brisbane, there's about 50 SEOs lined up. So that's something we need to be aware of, that today's urgency is tomorrow's commodity. But ultimately, exclusivity is where it is all about. It makes your prospect immediately think about the competitor. They don't want to have what you're selling. So you're not just selling them your service, you're selling them the chance to keep it away from their rival. Franchises are a very popular thing. Like Australia is like the capital of franchises around the world, if I'm not mistaken. It's one shot, one location, and that's it. So that's a level of urgency that money can't buy. What's your level of urgency for your ideal client prospect? So now we've arrived at our final strategy, and it's the one that ties everything together, which is to stop selling a product and start building a system. And again, I'm not talking about IT and things. There's a lot of system. I come from a process background myself. I want you to think about it differently, but it is a fundamental mind shift. For so many hugely successful companies, the product is almost beside the point. The real business, the real asset is the process behind it. But then there's processes, and then there's processes. The most common type of processes involves polishing turds. It's just improvement for the sake of improvement with no impact on business, customers, or staff. I'll give you an example. Tupperware. I don't know if they're still around, but Tupperware is probably the best example ever. We think they sell or sold plastic bowls, but they didn't. They are masters of a few key processes: a process for recruitment, to work on commission, a process for training them, and a process for conducting a home party that reliably sells products. The bowl is just the widget they feed into that machine. Same goes for, companies like Proactive. It's $1 billion company, but they're not in the business of selling glop, right? The cream or whatever it is, but on a collection of world-class processes for marketing and delivery. It's a process of marketing delivery. I've repeated that. The question you have to ask yourself is, are you in the product business or are you in the process business, the distribution business specifically? Why does it make a difference? If you're in the product business, which is fine, you're going to need a lot of capital, products come and go, and you're constantly trying to keep up with the trend. If you're in the process and specifically the distribution business and you master it, then you can get other people's products, new products, co-brand, rebrand, or sell their brand as a partner. And your distribution system just keeps chugging along, which increases your present bank cash flow and your future bank equity. So you've heard this term, your business has a leaky bucket. It's like an overused term, but how often do we actually reflect on that? Or are we too busy chasing more sales, more customers? It's the Achilles heels for most business owners. I talk to a business owner, very quickly I can stump them, and it always leads to a leaky bucket. So we fall into one of two traps. So the first one is marketing-centric flaw. We're a genius at getting the phone to ring, our ads are brilliant, our website is a lead generation machine. But what happens when that lead comes in? The person who answers the phone is clueless. Our follow-up is a mess, and our sales process is just winging it. We're doing all the hard work to fill the bucket, but the water is just pouring out through the holes. On the flip side, it's a sales-centric flaw. You're a born closer. You can get in front of someone, you can sell them anything, ice to Eskimos, but you do not have a predictable, repeatable system for getting in front of people. You live in a world of feast or famine, very, very typically like a salesperson. So that's the other problem. So let's be clear. The real sustainable advantage is having excellent processes for both. Not good processes, excellent. You need a machine that finds them and a machine that closes them. So what does that do to your present bank balance and also your future bank equity? So how do we fix the leaky bucket? We build a system for every step. Take all that genius that's stuck in your head, let's call it tribal knowledge, and turn it into a documented playbook that anyone can follow. And I mean anyone, I think 8th grade level. First, you map the journey. You literally draw out every single touch point a customer has with your business. We've done that in previous replays. You'll be shocked at where the friction and drop-off points are. That's where lost income. Then you build a system for each half of the business. You systemize lead generation so that it's predictable, not based on luck. And critically, you systemize sales and conversion. You take your art of selling and turn it into a science. What's your script? Do you even have a script? What's your proposal template? Is it persuasive or is it just boring corporate? What's your follow-up sequence? Is it engaging? This is how you build a business that can grow beyond you. And finally, the holy grail of process is embrace continuity. See, the perfect business is the electric company. They have almost 100% retention in their continuity program because people are very, very unwilling to live in a cold, dark house. Your job is to create a process so valuable, a service so essential that your customers feel the same way about leaving you. That's a true process advantage. So that completes the 6 must-have strategies for buying, building, and growing a business for both business owners and investors. As you review the replay or read the summary notes, you may find yourself thinking, I need immediate cash flow in days and weeks, but also simultaneously create marketing assets that increase business value. Or maybe not. Maybe you're thinking cash flow is fine, payrolls are being made, but there's clearly untapped opportunity, but you don't know where to look for multiple streams of revenue. Maybe that's not the issue. Maybe you're thinking, I want to maximize firm valuation while minimizing dependency on you as the owner. Ideally, you'd like to figure out how to generate 10 years of income in 3 years and repeat it like Head and Shoulders, rinse and repeat. So any of these slightly resonate with you, feel free to text me on my mobile or email me. We'll have a conversation. No strategy session, no sales talking, just a conversation, and we'll go from there. See if there's any opportunities to work together. Now let's switch over to the Q&A. So I'll stop the recording and the notes.